I just discovered something really quite cool. You can actually use a HomePod mini in your 12 volt setup in your van. On the Atypical Workshop, I love to embrace my neurodiversity. Why settle for the ordinary when I'm capable of so much more? That was the approach I took with this project, using the speaker in a way that not only blends seamlessly with my van's setup, but also enhances its performance. Stick around and I'll show you exactly how I achieved this setup. But first, let's talk about why USB-C PD is so great. I always assumed it wasn't possible to have a HomePod in my van because of the 12 volt to 9 volt requirement. But thanks to USB-C power delivery, the adapter adjusts the voltage perfectly. No extra converters needed, just plug and play. Perfect for anyone looking to improve the sound in their van with minimal effort. You know what else doesn't require any additional converters? That's right, subscribing to my channel below. It's free and it really helps me. In order to be eligible to join the YouTube Partner Program, I require 4,000 public watch hours in a calendar year, of which I am currently on 1,659. That seems like quite an uphill battle, but to put things into perspective, my last 5 videos total about an hour's worth of watch time. So if 1,000 of you watched my last 5 videos all the way through, that's 1,000 watch hours towards my total. You might be asking the question, how does me earning money on the platform help you? Well, it means I'll be able to make more videos on more topics more frequently, and I think everyone wins in that situation. But enough from me, let's get back to what you're here for. I've used 1.5mm squared 2-core wire here. Run it between the fuse box and the spot where you've decided to put your HomePod. Since the HomePod has quite a long tail on it, you won't need to add any extra lengths to the cable that you're running. Drill a hole in the back of your cupboard for cable access, hook everything up, and if you're happy with this, you're good to go. Now, many of you might think this is overkill, and that's fine. But for those of you who like things just right, this is where it gets interesting. I had 3 goals for this project. Number 1, the HomePod must blend in with its surroundings when not in use. Number 2, the audio experience must be improved since it can get quite bass heavy when you stick a speaker like that inside of a cupboard. And number 3, the HomePod must still be usable when it's stowed away. Once I decided on a location, I found some old drawer runners and chopped one of them in half. I couldn't believe my luck when I realised that the depth of my shelf was exactly half the length of one of these runners. When you make the cut, just make sure that the runner is closed properly so that all of the individual components are cut precisely in 2. Next, I divided up the cupboard space, making sure there was ample room for the speaker. When fixing runners to the base of the cupboard, use 5mm spacers to keep them away from the sides. I'll explain why in a bit. The tray should be around 2mm narrower than the cupboard to allow the sliders to run freely. Before fixing the tray to your runners, make a hole large enough for the USB-C cable. You might want to make a cutout at the back to prevent the cable from getting snagged when the tray is opened and closed. Remember I mentioned leaving a 5mm gap earlier? Here's why. All of the cutouts on my face panel have rounded edges. If the runners were placed flush against the sides, the edges here would need to be straight for the tray to open properly. The 5mm spacing creates enough room for the radius of the rounded edges without interfering with the runners. When cutting your opening with a palm router, make sure everything is secured to prevent any movement, as this will cause wavy edges. Remove the shelf prior to cutting or it won't be able to open properly, and whatever you do, check that you've removed your HomePod too. And lastly, cut a piece of plywood from those offcuts to create a handle/front for the tray you've just installed. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed making it because I've changed up my approach. Before, I would start making something and start describing it as I went along, and I can't keep up with that. My ADHD brain gets lost, and then I end up doing about 10 takes for everything. And then the editing takes 10 times longer because I'm trying to find the footage I want to use, then I've got to condense it down. Whereas by starting out with a loose script that I want to use, and I'll sit in front of the camera and, you know, like you've seen me in this video, sat here, and I'll film myself doing the whole script. And then I've got something I can go, right, well, I need some footage now of me making this or doing this. So I'll go away and do it, and then I'll edit it in. And the difference is that I have spent 2 days, including this evening, writing the script, shooting everything and editing. 2 days. The previous video took me 3 weeks to make. So it's a no-brainer to me. I hope that comes across in the quality of the video as well. I think it may have done. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on now. I'll quickly tell you, coming up on the channel, I've got... What have I got coming up? I've got more framing to do. I've got most of the video filmed. That one is going to take me a while because it was all done in the way that I just described. But this week I'm going to make a fold-out table for the van, and hopefully I can do that in a couple of days, just like this one. I've got the MaxFan dome vent video to finish editing, and a few other things coming up, but I'm going to go now because I think I've just made this video double the length it was before I went off script. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for subscribing if you did today, and thank you to my recent subscribers. I appreciate the support. I'll see you in the next one. Earlier on in the video, I spoke of 3 goals for this project, the second of which pertained to the audio quality. I've just set up a small experiment to see if I can compare the differences between the sound quality when the tray is pulled out versus when it's pushed in. And to do that, I'm going to play a track, and according to ChatGPT, I should use Epic Journey by Young Logos. I can play it because it's in the YouTube audio library, which means I won't incur any penalties. And it has a dynamic range with both low and high frequencies that would help me test my scenarios. So let's see how it goes. So this is test 1 with the tray pushed in. Jumping to 1 minute 20. And then to the end. Okay, so that was test 1, and now for test 2, let's pull this all the way out and try again. I can already tell a difference, I don't know if you can. And jumping to 1 minute 20. And then jumping to the end. Okay, I'm now going to do one final test, kind of moving it in and out and see if you can tell. I really hope you can, because I can.